Now that we are familiar with the basic parts of the Premiere interface, let's import some video clips into our project. Importing is a very simple process. If you're taking from memory cards or pre-existing footage, ensure that all of the video clips are stored in your media folder. I have some here, so I'm just going to copy some video clips into this folder. So I have 2 video files here in my project folder. It's incredibly important to ensure every piece of content you're using in your edit is within your project folder. Every video clip, every sound file, every still image. This allows easy backup, as you can copy the entire parent folder drive. It is also very important not to import from pen drives, as this will lead to slow and unstable projects, as video and sound files and still images aren't saved locally within your project file. If a file is imported and then it is renamed or changed to a different save location, your Premiere project will no longer be able to find the file, thus leading to offline media. This is why we need to make sure that all of our files are in the one place, so that we do not have any offline media files, which in turn won't lead to any breakdown in our project. All of our media files are within our project folder. We simply go File, Import, navigate to our project folder, and then we can select them all using the normal shortcut keys, and then we simply select Import. These files will now be visible within our project panel. To add a video clip to our timeline, firstly we need to select the video clip from the project panel. To do that, simply double click on the video clip. That will then open it up here in the viewer panel up here in the source monitor. Now at the bottom of the source monitor we have the transport controls. These allow us to play our video, stop, and move forward and backwards of individual frame. This allows us to have complete accuracy and allows us to view back our video clip. You'll also notice when I press play, we have the small playhead that moves across the timeline at the bottom of the source window. I can click and drag this back and forth to quickly scrub through a video clip. You'll also notice that we have a timecode clock telling us how far into a video clip we are in time. Now when we add a video clip to an edit, we need to decide how much of the footage we want to use. We do this by selecting an in point and an out point. The in point is the beginning of when the video will be used, and the out point is the end of when that video clip will be used. We do this by firstly moving our playhead to the point we want our video to start, and then we click this button here, Mark In, and you see that we'll start to have a teal coloured bar. The teal coloured bar is the portion of video that's going to be added to our edit. And then I can play it, drag my playhead, and when I get to the point that I want to stop my clip being used, I click this button here, the Mark Out. And that's it now sectioned off a portion of our video clip. Now this hasn't affected our source video file. All the video is still there. We've just highlighted a portion of the video clip we would like to use just now. To add this to our timeline, simply click and drag from the center of the image down onto the timeline, and you'll see there's a grayed out shadow of our video clip. And I can place it where I want it to go, and when I let go of my mouse, it'll then be added to my edit. I can now press play on the program window, and when I do that, it'll play back our edit, and you'll see that our playhead is tracking across on our timeline. Now you can add more than one clip to your edit, or even more than one section from the same clip. So I'm going to add a second section from the same clip. I'm going to start the process again. I'm going to double click on the clip, choose an in point, choose an out point, and then I'm going to drag it down into my edit. Now if I have a gap between two clips, that will be played back as a black screen. Now there are two ways I can remove an empty space. I can either click and drag a clip further up the timeline, and when I move it down, it'll jump and stick magnetically to the next clip, making sure that there's no black screen. The other way I can remove an empty part of my edit, if I click within that empty space, it will then highlight the empty space. By pressing the delete key or the backspace key, it will remove that space, and every subsequent clip will be moved down to accommodate for the removal of that time from our edit. Once I have a selection of clips on my timeline, I'm then able to work within the timeline to refine my edit. The first thing I can do is I can change the in point and the out point of a clip that's within my timeline. I do this by moving my cursor to the end or beginning of a clip, and when I do that you'll see the cursor changes. Now the red arrow is pointing towards the clip that will be affected by our edit. So currently it's going to affect the second clip. Now if I click and drag my mouse, the program panel will show us where the new endpoint will be, where this clip will start playing from. And when I let go of my mouse, it has then adjusted the endpoint of that clip. So that is where that now begins. And I can do the same with the end of a clip. Now when you adjust the in and out points on the timeline, you will create empty gaps between clips. So being able to select and remove the empty space is quite useful. When our clips are on our timeline, we can also adjust the order of our clips by clicking on them, and we can drag and reposition them on our timeline. We can do this as many times as we like without affecting the quality of the final outcome of the video. I'll just delete those blank spaces to reposition everything where it was.